Welcome to another episode of the Collision Vision driven by Auto Body News. As always, I'm your host, Cole Stramberg. Today's guest is knowledgeable and experienced in two very hot topics within the collision repair industry: marketing and recruiting. Today, we're going to talk about both. Diane Benting is a longtime member of the collision repair industry, working in various marketing roles at a prominent regional paint jobber before becoming president of BodyShopJobs, a job board for the collision repair industry. Looking forward to a great conversation, and I hope you enjoy the show. Diane Benting, thank you so much for joining us today on the Collision Vision.
Thank you so much for having me.
Looking forward to an awesome conversation. There's a lot to discuss. I think you bring a unique perspective to a few different topics, and I'd like to start with marketing. You've done a lot of that for shops. What is some of the low-hanging fruit that all shops should be doing to up their marketing game?
Doing the free items first. So you have Google Business, all of them. I highly suggest claim your business on Google Business. When people are searching for something, where do they go first? They go to Google. So always claim that. It's completely free. Claim your social media, your Facebook, your Yelp, your Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to claim. Claim it all, but you don't have to use it all. Just focus on like one or two that you can get really good at. But do your free items first. Reach out to your previous customers. You have all their contact information. So send them an email just saying, hey, it's been a while. Wanted to check in, or Merry Christmas, or anything to them. Ask them for a review on your Google Business page, on your Yelp page, on your Facebook page. That way you're interacting. That's all free items that you can do that cost nothing to you, just your time and investment.
Love all of those. And it is because it's free. Like, it takes a little bit of effort. It feels now too like those social media handles are almost as important when deciding on a business name
Yeah.
as making sure that .com domain's available. So much
Right.
real estate to grab and take advantage of. That's all free. What would be the next level for shops? So we have the basics down. We've done the free stuff. Love the idea of reaching out and requesting reviews. Where do shops who want to step it up go from there?
Build a website. You can go out there. There's simple ones like Weebly, Wix, Canva, any of those. Or you can hire a company to build like a nicer, more high-tech website. But just get your name out there with a website. And then you start on your SEO, your Google Analytics, all of your paid advertising, anything like that. But start simple, start from the basics, and then work your way up when you start seeing return and results.
Great advice. And it's clean, it's straightforward, it's not breaking the bank. Something I'd love your perspective on, because I'm a big believer in marketing. We've had some marketing oriented guests on the show before. And I always like to get a perspective because from my angle over the past couple years, business has been really good for body shops. It's been a capacity problem more than a sales problem. And I think some folks have taken their eye off the ball a little bit with marketing. Like, why do I need to do anything for marketing? I have no problem there. Why should body shops be focused on marketing?
Well, if you look at it, I mean, I live in Houston, so there's a shop every mile. I mean, you can throw a stone and you're going to hit a shop. So you want to make sure that you're setting yourself apart from your competitors and your other shops in your market. And that's why I say like the reviews are great, because if you're going on Google, people search on Google, then they read the reviews and you have 100 5-star reviews, and then the shop 2 streets down from you has 5 or has none. People are going to choose to go to you or try you out first. And then the word of mouth, just talking with everybody in your community. You want to just make sure you stand out a little bit more than your competitors.
I like it. And from my perspective on the M&A side, I'll talk about customer concentration. And so avoiding that concentration with one or two DRP partners as like the exclusive source of your business is very important. Having a web presence and a marketing presence and a presence in your community certainly helps diversify that customer base a little bit, I think is
Yes.
a nice side effect.
Yes.
So you've done a lot of marketing. That's not where I want to spend the bulk of our time today. I want to spend it on recruiting and talent and retention. So I'll kind of segue us into that with, obviously, a very hot topic today is the technician shortage. from your unique perspective, where do you view us today? From your perspective, how severe is this technician shortage?
It's severe, but I think where we were even 5 years ago to now, we're doing so much more. And then you have companies out there like Collision Careers, Tech Force, Craft, that are all working to get people in the industry and promote the industry. So you have to work with those kind of people and get it going and the ball rolling where it's growing and people are finding out that it's not just painting a vehicle. There's also all these different other positions that are in the industry. There's estimators, there's CSR, there's front of house, there's receptionists. Everybody plays a vital role in the organization. And so letting people know that you're not just in there, people just think, oh, I don't want to be welding vehicles. You want to be actually out there doing things. And so you just find your niche and find people to come into the industry.
Great advice. And I think that is a good point. We have a lot of national industry organizations working to solve the problem on a macro level. From a micro level, what can shops be doing today to stand out in their recruiting efforts and attracting the technicians they need? And I want to spend some time here because I think this is the real actionable, important stuff.
I think getting out in your community and getting in touch with your local high schools, finding out if they have a automotive program. And if they don't, how is something that you can incorporate it? Maybe you do, hey, over spring break, I know kids don't have a lot of things to do. Let's do a half day classes. And maybe you're not teaching them how to paint a vehicle, but you're starting off with life skills, how to change your oil, how to check the fluids in your vehicle. And then you have some bumpers laying around. You're like, okay, we have some extra time. Do you guys want to try sanding? Do you want to try buffing? And just getting them involved and seeing where their creativity takes them and seeing if they like to get into the industry. So I think really just focusing on your community and focusing on the local high schools, if you have secondary programs, any of the tech schools, and just getting involved with them so that they know that you're there to support them.
Makes total sense. And I think I view the technician shortage as kind of two-sided. You have that long-term solution of, we know the technician base is aging. We know we need a new group of a new generation of technicians coming in to keep individual businesses going, certainly, but the industry as a whole. And then there's the second tier of technician needs. And it's like, hey, I need that A tech. I need that B tech ready to go. And it feels recruiting for them is totally different. Talk about kind of, it's taboo, right? Recruiting existing technicians from your local competitors. Like, that's a bad word. We're all on the same team now as an industry, but it still happens. How do you become the employer of choice for those A techs today?
Offering different benefits and different just work perks that maybe some of them don't cost you anything, but just how you view your employees and how you value them. So I'll give a personal example. My son recently broke his leg. We were in the hospital getting prepped to go back to the OR. While we were there was a little boy next bed next to him. The mom could not be there because she had to be at work. So the nurses are on the phone talking her through everything. My heart broke for the mom because I don't know her situation, but obviously her job told her, you have to be here or you don't have a job. And she had to make a choice, be there with my son or go to work so I can pay these medical bills. And she chose to go to work and pay her medical bills. As an employer, I would want to be able to work with my employees and be like, you take the time, you go to the hospital, you don't worry about everything. I'll even pay you your 40 hours or your 60 hours or whatever their pay is to make sure that they're covered, but that way they can take care of their family. Because what are they going to do then? They're going to go tell all their friends. And then their friends, when they get in an accident, are going to remember, hey, didn't so-and-so say that the shop that they work at was great? Let's go there. It's just the employee retention, talking to them, making sure that you work with them and their lives. That was going to keep them on and keep them happy.
That's huge. And we talked about your son's story in our pre-show call. So happy to say he is recently out of that cast, right?
Yes, he is good.
Beautiful.
He is good. Yes.
Good to hear. I told you as a kid, I broke plenty of bones. I know that is no fun at all. So happy to hear it. And it's a great segue into retention. I'm fortunate to know a lot of really good shop owners, regional MSO owners who they deal with the technician shortage in different ways. Certainly everyone's impacted by it, but there are stories out there of some of these elite operators having too many body techs and painters and estimators wanting to work for them. And it's a great problem to have. And I think something that they've done is just built that reputation in a market. And a lot of it is, I think, doing what you're saying and building that culture. Any insights kind of further tactically to build that culture? Love the flexibility. As we know, like replacing an A tech is so much more expensive typically than keeping one.
Right. Another thing you could do is if you know their anniversary is coming up, or just they haven't had a date night in a while, say, hey, I'm going to line up a sitter or whatever sitter they use. I'm going to pay for your sitter. I'm going to call ahead to the restaurant. I'm going to go ahead and pay your tab. Go to the restaurant. That way, if you give them cash, what are they going to do? They're going to use it on their bills. You give them a gift card. Okay, it's an Amazon gift card. They're going to forget why they had it. They're just going to put it in their Amazon account and just buy necessities. But if you call the restaurant ahead of time and say, hey, I have this employee coming. I'm going to prepay whatever amount you want for their dinner. And then you have the sitter covered. They have no excuse to go have a date night. And that's the biggest thing in a lot of couples, even me personally, you have to make time for yourself and make time with your spouse. And so as a company, just doing that little extra thing, I mean, like I said, it's not going to cost you much. It's a dinner out. And you can set the limit. You can say, hey, I'm covering the first 100 or 200 or whatever you want. And then they're getting time to relax and they don't have to worry about how to find a sitter and paying for a sitter. You have that all covered for them.
Love that. I got a gift card for a dinner to a steakhouse from my very first job out of school, and I still remember that dinner today. Not necessarily because it was like the best one I've ever had, but it was a very cool, good gesture of good faith and positive feedback. Really, really like that idea. I think culture is so important, and we could talk about that for an entire episode. Tactically, though, I want to start to talk a little bit about body shop jobs and some feedback on exactly what it is we're seeing out in the marketplace. Why are good technicians entering the job force today? Like what are some common reasons for taking a look at other opportunities?
I think really the home life flexibility, this generation coming in, I guess my parents, that generation was all, you have to work, you work 60 hours, you work 80 hours, whatever you can to pay the bills, to get it taken care of, you do. Where this generation coming in now is, well, I want to even work-life balance. So I want to do my 40 hours. I want to clock out. I want to spend time with my family or doing social things that I like to do. So it's figuring out that how to work with those people and with your mindset too, where you're like, no, we have to prep this car. We have to get it painted. We have to get it out. We have to get it to the customer. So maybe you work with maybe 980s. I know it's not possible for a shop, or some shops do, but not possible really for a shop to be closed or be open, for 4 days a week and closed on Fridays. But maybe you work out something where you have two amazing painters and you do 980s with them, where they get every other Friday off. It's just something that you can do to kind of keep your business flowing and production flowing without causing a delay or a bottleneck in your company.
Very cool. Yeah, very good insights there. I switching it up, right? We talk so much about pay. That's something that we've discussed with some different consultants, including Mike Anderson on the show. Is we're now competing for talent with industries that are not like thought of as being competitive to the collision repair industry, the Amazons of the world. Without getting too specific, where are you seeing the trends of pay going for technicians? Are shops keeping up and bumping up pay as things competitive roles, I guess, out there become more and more competitive?
I don't think so. In a lot of shops, it's because, I mean, they're saying they're not making as much money. But then you have to start, it's like the chicken and the egg. You have to start somewhere. And so starting with raising your labor rates, like Labor Rate Hero is a great place to go on to see if you're even competitive with your market for labor rates. And then increasing your labor rates, getting them posted, charging your labor rates, staying firm with insurance companies that you're charging your labor rates. And then when you start making more money, you can also pay your employees more money. And so it's a trickle down effect, and it's going to take a while, but you can get there and you can give your employees, and even sometimes maybe you can't give them a monetary bonus or pay them more, but you can do an activity that includes their family. Like we have the Astros here, or I guess that would cost money, but you have the Astros here, be like, hey, we're going to a family day at the Astros. I bought 100 tickets, bring your kids, bring your spouses, we're going. Stuff like that, that maybe it's not monetary in their pocket, but it's something that's an experience that they can have and they can say, oh, this was fun because they couldn't afford it otherwise to take their family, but they were able to do it because of you.
Beautiful. Yeah, those experiences, as we talked about, create memories, create some loyalty, create that family culture sense. I want to talk about Body Shop Jobs and give you a chance to kind of tell people where to learn more about what it is. Before I do, I want to wrap up this portion of the conversation. And as you know, each episode of the Collision Vision, we like to end with 3 key takeaways. What would those be for our conversation today?
First, the marketing, use your free resources, use the Google business, your social media, your previous customers, contacting them. That's number one key takeaway, I would say. Second is connecting with your local community, your local schools, your high school, your trade tech schools, anything in your community that you can do that. Then third would be reward and incentivize your employees. Do the retention, do anything you can to keep your good employees with you so they don't go to the competitor.
Well said. So, Body Shop Jobs, tell us about it. Tell people where they can learn more.
So BodyShopJobs.com. It's a job board for the automotive collision industry, and it's not just for shops, it's also for industry manufacturers, distributors, rep agencies, anybody in the collision industry. So if you're looking to change, but you're not sure, you don't want to leave the shop, or you're not sure where to go, you can go and look and see if maybe there's a distributor looking for somebody. Also, people looking for jobs can go on and post their resumes for free, and they can search and browse job openings. They can apply directly through the site, or they can call the shop direct. As an employer, you can go on and you can post your job openings from painter, buffer, porter, anything that's in your collision shop. And it's real simple job posting fee. The job's open for 30 days, and then hopefully you find somebody in that 30 days. If not, you can repost the job. It's an easy click of just hit repost.
Fantastic. And I'll be sure to include a link to bodyshopjobs.com in the show notes, though it is pretty easy to remember. I always like to tell people if they're driving or anything, do not try to jot that down. It'll be one click and easy to do. Diane, where can people reach out to you if they want to get in touch?
My LinkedIn is my main source. Also, my email is simple, Diane@bodyshopjobs.com.
I love it. Making it easy on me.
Yes.
Well, I'll be sure to post all of those links in the show notes to make that easy on everybody else. But Diane Benting, thank you so much for joining us today on the Collision Vision.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Diane Benting for joining us on today's show. I personally love conversations about marketing, and we all definitely need to talk about recruiting regularly, as that one, in my opinion, is probably the most pressing issue we face together as an industry. With that, we have some great action items on both of those topics from Diane's 3 key takeaways. And those were: number 1, be sure to utilize the free resources at your disposal to market your shop. Those resources include Google Business, requesting reviews, social media profiles. These take some effort, but they don't take expense, and you can really elevate your brand and separate your shop from the pack by pursuing a couple of those avenues. Number 2, be sure to connect with your local schools and community. Get involved. Go ahead and bring in some trainees to mentor. Offer programs for trade school people or high school students to really get ready to solve the problem of the technician shortage on the micro for your shop. Lastly, be sure to reward your employees. Offer them a date night on the company. Include their families. Work with them on their needs and build that loyalty. Make it a great place to work so you're not having to replace your A technicians all the time. It's easier and less expensive to retain good talent than it is to go out and find it. That's all for today's show. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that follow button wherever you enjoy your podcast, or on YouTube, where the Collision Vision lives in video form. Also, be sure to give us a share with your network. On behalf of the Auto Body News team and myself, thank you for coming along for the ride.